All right, let's dive into something absolutely massive. The 2025 Prayag Mahakumbh Mela in India.
I mean, massive is really an understatement. We're looking at Wikipedia articles in both English and Hindi, and even those don't fully capture it.
So this is the Mahakumbh Mela, and this one is extra special, right? Happens only every 144 years. The Kumbh Mela itself is this massive Hindu pilgrimage festival. Every 12 years, it rotates between 4 locations in India.
This year, it's Prayagraj's turn. It's going to be the world's largest peaceful gathering. We're talking maybe 400 million people.
Whoa, that's almost half the population of the U.S. Like, try to imagine getting that many people to a concert or something?
Right. It really puts things into perspective. But it's not just the number of people, it's the spiritual importance for Hindus.
Yeah, this is about purification and achieving moksha, right? Like liberation.
Exactly. And the Amrit Snan, the nectar baths or royal baths, those are a huge part of that.
And it already kicked off, didn't it, back
Yeah.
in January?
Yeah, the males actually started on January 13th with Pasha Purnima, but the first royal bath was on Makar Sankranti the next day. That's a big Hindu festival.
Ah, so each of these bathing days is tied to a different festival. What else is coming up?
So the second royal bath was January 29th, Mauni Amavasya. Super important for cleansing sins.
Okay, wow. I bet the energy there is insane. What about the economic impact of something this big? Like, gotta be huge, right?
It's huge. You've got this whole temporary city for millions of people, all the transportation, the food, souvenirs, everything.
It's honestly kind of hard to even imagine.
Yeah, the budget alone was massive, $73.82 billion. That's about US $850 million.
And I bet they're making it back and then some, right?
Yeah, projected revenue is over $2 trillion, so something like US $23 billion.
See, now that's an economic driver. Okay, so tell me about this temporary city. It's not just like a few tents, right?
No. We're talking 4,000 hectares, bigger than 5,600 football fields.
No way. Seriously.
Seriously. And get this, they even use dredging machines to get more land.
That's wild. That's not your average music festival setup. And they have to put all those people somewhere.
Yeah, there are about 150,000 tents for accommodation.
But wait, getting 400 million people in and out of a place like that, that's got to be a logistical nightmare.
Oh, it is. But they really upped their infrastructure game. 1,850 hectares of parking, over 450 kilometers of new roads.
So, like, if I drove there, I wouldn't be stuck in traffic for a week.
Probably not, no. They also increased train capacity. They've got special trains like the Prayagraj Express and Lucknow Mail running just for the Mela.
How many trains are we talking total?
Around 360 total, including those 190 special trains.
Okay, that's a lot of trains. Transportation covered. What about sanitation? With that many people, got to be a top priority.
Oh, it is. They've installed 150,000 toilets and urinals, and they've got 10,000 sanitation workers.
Wow. That's like 1 for every 10 toilets. They're really on top of it.
They've got safety covered, too.
Yeah.
40,000 police officers, 2,700 cameras watching everything.
Big Brother is watching? What else?
Underwater drones for recovery operations.
Underwater drones. Okay, now that's high tech.
Right. They even have digital registration at the Lost and Found centers to make things easier.
That's a good idea, actually. So they're really prepared, huh?
Yeah, they even have a mobile app with helpful information for attendees.
Smart. Super useful for getting around in a place like that. Anything else?
They're even using AI and chatbots, answering questions, giving directions.
Okay, now that is really cool. Blending ancient tradition and modern tech. So with all this planning, any hiccups?
Yeah, unfortunately, despite the best efforts, a couple of incidents. There was a fire, exploded gas cylinder, took out 18 tents.
Oh man, that's scary, especially with so many people so close together.
Thankfully, no injuries. But there was also a stampede, more serious, 30 deaths, 60 injuries.
Oh, that's awful. It really shows how hard it is to manage a gathering this massive, even with all the precautions.
Yeah, but it's important to remember these were exceptions. Overall, things have been running pretty smoothly. That's good to hear. So we talked about the bathing rituals and their significance, but tell me more about these bathing days themselves. What makes each one so special?
Each one is connected to a specific Hindu festival, and each day has its own energy, its own significance.
Right. So we had the first 2 royal baths, Makar Sankranti and Mani Amavasya, and next up is Vasant Panchami, right? That's Monday, February 3rd.
Exactly. It marks the arrival of spring. Super important for devotees.
So it's not just about, cleansing sins. It's also about new beginnings.
Yeah, I like that. Then we've got Magha Purnima, Wednesday, February 12th, a day for spiritual renewal. And the last royal bath is on Maha Shivaratri, another big bathing day, Wednesday, February 26th.
So that's it. The Mahakumbh Mela ends on Mahashivaratri.
That's right. It's a powerful way to wrap up this incredible event.
Wow. Each day really sounds like its own unique opportunity for spiritual growth,
For sure. The energy and the devotion during these rituals is incredible. You can just feel it. Millions of people coming together for a shared spiritual purpose. That's powerful stuff. And we know that people come from all over the world for this, right? Just how international is this event?
It's amazing the diversity. We're talking Australia, Brazil, Canada, Fiji, Finland, France, Germany, Greece, Japan, and that's just the beginning.
Wow, so it's a truly global phenomenon now. People from all over drawn to this one event.
Yeah, it's incredible. And it's not just everyday folks either. We've got 118 diplomats coming, including heads of mission from 77 different countries, all visiting the Mahakumbh on February 1st.
Okay, that's a serious diplomatic presence. Really shows the recognition this event gets on a global level.
Oh, yeah. And then, of course, there's Prime Minister Modi's visit.
Right, I bet that was quite a sight. He took a holy dip in the Triveni Sangam, didn't he?
He did. It was a really unique blend of the spiritual and the political.
So with all these people, there must be some other interesting figures there too, right?
Oh, tons. Spiritual
Yeah.
leaders, celebrities, business people, even athletes. They're all at the Mahakumbh Mela.
Okay, let's hear it. Who are some of the big names gracing the Kumbh Mela with their presence?
Well, first off, it's like a who's who of Hindu spiritual leaders. You've got Swami Ramdev, the famous yoga guru.
Oh, I know him. His yoga stuff is popular all over the world.
Yeah, and Tirendra Krishna Shastri from Bhageshwar Dham Sarkar. And then there's Swami of Dashanand Giri, the Acharya Mamandaleshwar of Juna Akara, and Swami Nishalananda Saraswati. He's the Shankaracharya of the Purvamnaya Sri Govardhana Peetham in Puri.
That's a mouthful. But man, the amount of spiritual wisdom these folks must bring to the Kumbh Mela, it's incredible.
Right. And then you've got Swami Ramabhadracharya, founder of Tulsi Peeth, and Gurudev Sri Ravi Shankar. He's the founder of the Art of Living Foundation.
It's amazing how diverse just the spiritual leaders are.
Oh, yeah. It shows the richness of Hinduism. But it's not just about religion. There are tons of celebrities from the film and media world there, too.
Okay, so who are some of the famous faces in the crowd?
You've got Anupam Kher, the Bollywood actor and producer.
I've seen him in some stuff, yeah.
Yeah, and actress Ada Sharma. She's done Hindi and Telugu films. She even recited the Shiv Tandav Stotram at the Mela.
Wow. Spirituality and entertainment all in one place.
And then you've got Avinash Tiwari, another Indian actor. He was talking about how it's a once-in-a-lifetime experience. And get this, Chris Martin from Coldplay was even spotted at the Kumbh Mela, along with Dakota Johnson, the American actress.
No way, Chris Martin. That's wild. Guess the appeal really does cross cultures, huh?
Oh, yeah. And we've got Shankar Mahadevan, the Indian singer and composer.
It's so cool how this event brings together, like, spiritual leaders, actors, musicians from all over.
It really does. It's something else. So we've got spiritual leaders, film stars, musicians. Who else is making headlines at the Mahakumbh Mela?
Well, the business world is definitely represented. Balkrishna, chairman of Patanjali Ayurved, was there.
Patanjali, the consumer goods and herbal products company.
That's the one. Shows how the spiritual and the material worlds really intersect at this event.
Right. It's not just a purely religious thing. Who else from the business world? Well, you've got Anil Ambani, the chairman of Reliance Group, and Gautam Adani. He's the founder of the Adani Group. That's one of the biggest conglomerates in India.
It's like a who's who of Indian business. Wow.
Laureen Powell Jobs, Steve Jobs' wife, she was there too. And Peter Elbers, the CEO of Indigo, that's one of India's top airlines.
Wow, that's quite a diverse range of people.
It really is. It speaks to the unifying power of the Kumbh Mela. It's not just a religious event, it's a cultural phenomenon.
So we've covered the spiritual leaders, folks from film and media, the business bigwigs. What about the politicians and government officials? Surely there's a strong political presence at an event like this.
Oh, for sure. Prime Minister Modi's visit was obviously a big deal. But there's also Akhilesh Yadav, the former chief minister of Uttar Pradesh. He took a holy dip at Sangam.
Interesting. So the Kumbh Mela draws in politicians from all sides, huh?
That's right. Amit Shah, the Minister of Home Affairs, he was there too, as well as Arun Govind, the Member of Parliament for Meerut. And Bhajan Lal Sharma, the Chief Minister of Rajasthan, he took a holy dip at Sangam too.
Wow, that's quite a turnout from the political sphere. Anyone else on that list?
We have Hema Malini, the Bollywood actress turned politician. She's a Member of Parliament from Mathura. And Jagdeep Dhankhar, the Vice President of India, he took a holy dip alongside Sri Pundrik Goswamiji Maharaj.
It's really amazing to see how the Kumbh Mela brings together these different facets of Indian society.
It really does. And it's not just Indian politicians either. Jigme Khazar Namgyel Wangchuk, the king of Bhutan, he was at the Mahakumbh too and took a dip at Sangam.
That's really cool. Really shows the international reach of this event.
Yeah. And then you have Kiran Rijiju, the Minister for Minority Affairs. He's there with Hema Malini. And Rajnath Singh, the Minister of Defense, he visited the Mahakumbh and took a holy dip at Sangam too.
It's fascinating to see how it brings together people from different spiritual and cultural backgrounds and from across the political spectrum, too.
Absolutely. And we haven't even touched on the athletes who were there.
Oh, right. Tell me, which sports stars made an appearance at the Mahakumbh?
Well, we had the great Kali, the legendary former wrestler.
Oh, wow. I bet that was something to see.
Yeah, he even started a selfie war with devotees and security. Then there's Mary Kom, the Olympic boxer, and Suresh Raina, the former Indian cricketer. They both took a dip of the Ganges.
It's incredible how the Kumbh Mela draws in people from all walks of Indian life, from spiritual leaders and politicians to actors and athletes.
Absolutely. And we also had Jay Shah, the chairman of the International Cricket Council, and former Indian cricketer R.P. Singh. They were there too.
It seems like the Mahakumbh Mela is way more than just a religious event. It's like a snapshot of Indian society, bringing people together to celebrate their shared faith and heritage.
I think you're exactly right. And we can't forget about Navdeep Singh, the Indian para-athlete. He added to the diversity of the crowd. This event really highlights the power of shared experiences. It bridges differences and creates a sense of unity.
With all these notable people from all these different walks of life, the Mahakumbh Mela is truly living up to its reputation as a global gathering, so culturally and spiritually significant.
It's a fascinating mix of tradition, devotion, and spectacle. And we've only just begun to scratch the surface.
Okay, so we've gotten a glimpse of the scale, the spirituality, the diversity of the Mahakumbh Mela, but who are the people at the center of all this?
Ah, you're talking about the Akaras, the ancient Hindu monastic orders. They're crucial to the Kumbh Mela.
I'm curious to learn more about them. What role do these Akaras play?
Well, think of them as organized groups of sadhus, the holy men who dedicate their lives to spiritual practices. They've been around for centuries, and they're really central to the Kumbh Mela.
So they're like the spiritual heart of the event.
Exactly. They bring tradition, discipline, and spiritual authority. And there are many different Akaras, each with its own history, beliefs, and practices.
Okay, now I'm intrigued. What are some of the notable Akaras at this year's Mahakumbh Mela?
Well, there's the Digambar Akara. They're known for their naked sadhus who cover themselves in ash. They were actually fighting to be the first to take the royal bath in the Ganges.
Wow, that's quite a visual. Any other Akaras that stand out?
Yeah, there's the Juna Akara. It's one of the biggest and most influential. They just initiated over 100 women into their ranks at the Mahakumbh.
Oh, wow, that's interesting. I wouldn't have expected women to be part of these orders.
It shows how traditions are evolving. And then there's the Agni Akara. They're known for their fire rituals. And the Avahan Akara, they made a grand entrance into Prayagraj for the Mela.
Sounds like a real mix of spiritual traditions. What other Akaras are there?
Well, we have the Kinar Akara, and they're made up of transgender individuals. Their presence is really challenging social norms. It's all about inclusivity.
That's really cool. Very progressive. It's interesting how the Akaras reflect the changing landscape of India.
That's right. We also have the Mahanivani Akara, the Atal Akara, the Niranjani Akara, and the Nirmohi Akara. Each of them contributes to the rich tapestry of beliefs at the Mahakumbh Mela.
With so many Akaras, it must be incredible to see the processions and rituals.
Oh, it's amazing. So many colors, the chanting, the music, the energy is incredible. The Akaras bring a sense of history, tradition, and spiritual depth to the whole event.
It's amazing to think that these monastic orders have been around for centuries, passing down their traditions, and we get to witness it all.
It's a unique glimpse into a world that most people never see, and it reminds us of India's rich spiritual heritage.
So we've covered the significance of the Kumbh Mela, the insane logistics, all the diverse people who attend, and now even these Akaras. What else can you tell me about this event? Like, what about the money involved?
Good question. The budget was about $73.82 billion, or around US $850 million.
Wow, that's a lot of money. But I imagine with all those people, the revenue must be pretty huge, too.
You're right. They're estimating over $2 trillion, which is US $23 billion.
Whoa. That's insane. It's fascinating how this pilgrimage also has such a big economic impact.
It does, for sure. Transportation, accommodation, food, souvenirs,
Mhm.
all that money flowing from all those people creates a ripple effect across many sectors.
It's like a sudden, massive boost to the economy, all concentrated in one place.
Exactly. It brings in income for so many people and businesses.
So the Kumbh isn't just a spiritual journey, it's an economic engine too.
That's a great way to put it. It's a really unique event where faith and commerce come together.
So we've talked about the spiritual aspects, the logistics, the economics, but I'm really curious about what it's actually like to be there, to be one of those millions of people at Prayagraj.
It's really hard to describe without experiencing it firsthand, but I can try to give you a sense of it.
All right, I'm all ears.
Just imagine a sea of people stretching as far as you can see, the sounds of chanting and music everywhere, and the smells incense, flowers, and all that delicious street food.
Wow, sensory overload in the best possible way.
You'd feel this energy, this buzz in the crowd, this shared sense of purpose, a devotion that goes beyond language or culture. You'd see people showing their faith everywhere. Pilgrims taking those holy dips, sadhus performing ancient rituals.
Sounds like a truly immersive experience.
And you'd be surrounded by people from all walks of life, villagers, businessmen, tourists, pilgrims. You'd hear stories about faith and change, hope, and finding yourself again.
Wow, I can almost feel the energy just from your description. It's no wonder the Kumbh is considered one of the most incredible events in the world.
It's amazing, isn't it? It shows the enduring power of faith and that human desire for connection, for meaning.
So, we've talked about the akaras, but I'm curious to dig a little deeper. Tell me, what exactly are these akaras?
Think of them like organized groups of sadhus, holy men who dedicate their lives to spiritual practices. They've been around for centuries, and they're a central part of the Kumbh. They often lead the processions and take part in the important rituals.
So they're like the spiritual backbone of the event.
Yeah, exactly. They add this layer of tradition, discipline, and spiritual authority to the whole experience. And there are so many different avartas, each with its own unique history, beliefs, and practices.
I'm hooked. Tell me more.
Yeah.
What are some of the most notable akaras that are part of this year's Mahakumbh?
Well, there's the Digambar Akara, and they're famous for their naked sadhus who cover their bodies in ash. They actually were competing to be the first to take the royal bath in the Ganges.
Whoa, I bet that was a sight to see. Any other akaras we should know about?
Yeah, the Juna Akara, that's one of the biggest and most influential. They initiated over 100 women into their ranks at this Mahakumbh.
Oh, wow. I didn't know women could be part of these orders.
It just shows how these ancient traditions are changing and adapting. Then there's the Agni Akara. They're known for their fire rituals. And the Avahana Akara, they made quite the entrance into Prayagraj for the main lake.
It's incredible, all these different spiritual traditions coming together like this. What other akaras are there?
Well, we have the Kinara Akara, and it's made up entirely of transgender individuals. It's really pushing back against those societal norms and promoting inclusivity.
That's amazing. It's so cool to see how the akaras reflect how India is changing.
Right. And then we have the Mahanirvani Akara, the Atal Akara, the Niranjani Akara, and the Nirmohi Akara. They all add to the richness and diversity of the spiritual practices and beliefs at the Mahakumbh.
With all those different akaras, it must be incredible to witness the processions and rituals they lead.
Oh, absolutely. It's a feast for the senses.
Yeah.
All the colorful costumes, the chanting, the music, the energy is palpable. They bring so much history and tradition to the Kumbh Mela. It makes the whole experience so much richer.
It blows my mind to think that these monastic orders have been around for centuries, and here they are, keeping those traditions alive. It's something else.
Yeah. It's a unique look into a hidden world. It reminds us of the deep spiritual heritage of India.
So we've talked about the meaning of the Kumbh Mela, the mind-boggling logistics involved, all those people from different backgrounds, and even these fascinating akaras. What else is there to know about this incredible event? What's the financial impact of all this?
That's a great question. The budget for the event was about $73.82 billion, which works out to around US $850 million.
That's a serious investment. But I imagine with millions of people coming in, the revenue generated must be pretty huge as well, right?
Absolutely. It's estimated that the Mahakumbh Mela will generate over $2 trillion. That's US $23 billion.
Whoa, that's an insane amount of money. It's amazing how this religious pilgrimage has such a huge impact on the economy.
It really does. From transportation and accommodation to food and souvenirs, think of all those people spending money. It benefits so many businesses and individuals.
So the Kumbh Mela isn't just a spiritual journey, it's a massive economic engine.
Exactly. It's this remarkable example of how faith and commerce can go hand in hand and create something truly unique and impactful.
All right, so we've touched on the spiritual, logistical, and economic aspects of the Mahakumbh Mela. But what's it like to actually be there? Imagine being one of those millions of people gathered in Prayagraj.
That's a question that's tough to answer, but I can try to paint a picture for you.
Okay, I'm all ears.
Imagine a sea of people, as far as you can see. The air is filled with the sounds of chanting and music, the smells of incense and flowers mixing with the aromas of street food, and all these vibrant colors, clothes, banners, everything.
It sounds like sensory overload in the best possible way.
And you'd feel this energy, this buzzing in the crowd. There's a sense of shared purpose, a devotion that goes beyond any language barrier, any cultural difference. You'd see people expressing their faith everywhere, pilgrims taking those holy dips in the river, sadhus performing these ancient rituals.
It sounds like an incredibly immersive experience.
You'd be surrounded by people from all walks of life, humble villagers, wealthy businessmen, curious tourists, and devout pilgrims. You'd hear stories of faith, of transformation, of hope, of people finding themselves.
I can almost feel the energy and excitement. It's no wonder the Kumbh Mela is considered one of the most extraordinary gatherings in the world.
Right. It's a testament to the power of faith and that deep human desire for connection, for something bigger than ourselves.
After hearing all this, I'm just in awe of the sheer scale and diversity of the Mahakumbh Mela. It's this incredible blend of ancient traditions and the modern world, the spiritual and the material, all in one place.
And remember, this is happening in a temporary city built just for this event.
Yeah.
It's a testament to human ingenuity and the power of organization on a scale that's hard to grasp.
It really is mind-blowing, but what I find most striking is the sense of unity and shared purpose that seems to run through the entire Kumbh Mela. Even with all these millions of people, the different backgrounds, the sheer scale of it all, there's this underlying current of connection.
It's a powerful reminder that beyond all our differences, we share the same basic hopes and desires. We all long for something greater than ourselves.
It's truly inspiring. Well, I think we've just scratched the surface of this incredible event. There's so much more to uncover.
You're absolutely right. And in part 2, we'll dive into some more fascinating details and explore some lesser-known aspects of the Mahakumbh Mela.
I can't wait. So until then, keep those minds curious. Welcome back to our deep dive into the 2025 Mahakumbh Mela.
It's amazing to think about everything we've learned already.
I know, right? The scale, the spirituality, all the different people, it's really something else.
What I find so fascinating is how this event, which is so deeply rooted in tradition, is also constantly evolving.
You know, when we were talking about those akaras earlier, I realized we didn't really talk much about like the Amrit itself, that nectar of immortality. Isn't that like a core part of the whole Kumbh Mela mythology?
That's a really good point. The Kumbh Mela is essentially a celebration of the Samudra Manthan, the churning of the ocean.
Oh, right, right. By the gods and demons, that whole Hindu mythology story.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And when they churned that ocean, it produced Amrit, the nectar of immortality, along with a bunch of other treasures.
Okay, so the Mela is like a symbolic reenactment of that whole thing, the struggle, the victory of good over evil.
You got it.
So when pilgrims take a dip in the rivers during the Kumbh Mela, they're symbolically partaking in that Amrit, purifying themselves and getting closer to immortality, right?
That's the belief. It's a powerful symbol, all about spiritual renewal and liberation.
It's amazing how these ancient myths still resonate with people today.
It really is. It shows how powerful storytelling is and how important it is for humans to find meaning and purpose.
Speaking of the Akars, I'm curious about their rituals, their practices. What can you tell me about what they actually do?
So each Akara has its own unique traditions passed down over generations.
Give me an example. What kind of traditions?
Well, some Akaras are known for their martial arts. They practice ancient forms of combat as a way to discipline both the body and mind.
So it's not all just like meditation and stuff.
Nope. It's about finding balance in all aspects of life. Some even have wrestling tournaments during the Kumbh Mela.
I bet those are intense to watch. What other unique practices are there?
Some Akaras do these crazy fire rituals, like walking on burning coals, stuff that seems to defy logic.
Yeah, I've heard about those. Sounds a bit scary, to be honest.
It's about testing your limits, showing your faith and spiritual power.
So the Akaras really add this whole other layer of like mystery and intrigue to the Kumbh Mela.
For sure. They embody those ancient traditions, and they're crucial for keeping those traditions alive and passing them down through the generations.
It's like a living link to the past.
Exactly.
And for many attendees, the Kumbh Mela is a chance to connect with that lineage, to seek blessings from the sadhus, to really immerse themselves in that spiritual energy.
That's a big part of it for sure. It's like stepping back in time and connecting with the roots of Hinduism.
So we've talked about those spiritual leaders, the celebrities who were there. Anyone else interesting at the Kumbh Mela?
Oh, tons of fascinating people, each with their own story. A few more come to mind, though.
All right, who else should we know about?
Well, from Bollywood, we have Bhagyashree. She's known for some really classic roles. She actually shared some moments from her Kumbh Mela visit with her family.
Oh, that's sweet. It's really special seeing families experience this together.
Then there's Kabir Khan. He's a famous director and screenwriter. He was there capturing the whole thing on film.
Trying to capture that scale, that energy on film, that must be a challenge.
Well, for sure. But I'm sure his work will provide a unique perspective on the Kumbh Mela. And we can't forget about Remo D'Souza, the choreographer and film director. He was there too.
I bet he brought a ton of energy to the event.
Oh, yeah. And speaking of vibrant personalities, Saurabh Raj Jain, a well-known Indian actor, was also there.
It seems like the Kumbh Mela really draws a lot of folks from the entertainment world.
It does. And then there was Shivangi Joshi, the lead actress from the TV show Ya Rishta Kya Kalata Hai.
Oh yeah, I've heard of that one. It's huge in India.
And then there was Shrima Padacharji, a talented Bengali actress. She was sharing her experience on Instagram.
It's cool how social media lets people share those personal journeys.
It is. And then there was Siddharth Nigam. He's a young actor from Prayagraj itself.
Oh, wow. Must be even more special for him experiencing it in his hometown.
He said it was a real blessing. And Srinidhi Shetty, the Indian actress who's done a lot of Kannada films, she was there as well.
It's really incredible how the Kumbh Mela brings in talent from all corners of the film industry.
Yeah, it's amazing. And then there's Sunil Grover, the actor and comedian. He brought some laughter to the Mahakumbh Mela.
Oh, I know him. He's hilarious on the Kapil Sharma show.
That's the one. I bet he made a lot of people smile.
Uh-huh.
And then there's Vinod Bhanushali, the film producer. He shared his journey at the Kumbh Mela with the world.
It sounds like he really connected with the event.
Yeah, he did. And finally, we have Tina Ambani, a former actress and wife of Anil Ambani. She was there with her husband.
Always nice to see couples sharing this spiritual journey together.
It really does show how the Kumbh Mela brings people together from all walks of life.
And we can't forget all the people who came from other countries. It's mind-blowing to think about people traveling from all over the world to be a part of this.
It really speaks to the Kumbh Mela's universal appeal.
Yeah.
It goes way beyond just geography and culture.
Now, with all these people gathered in one place, we have to talk about the environment. There's no way an event this massive doesn't have some impact, especially on the rivers.
That's a really important point. The rivers are considered sacred. Their purity is central to the Kumbh Mela.
Right. So what are they doing to lessen that environmental impact?
They've put a lot of effort into addressing those concerns. There's a huge focus on waste management and sanitation. Thousands of workers are keeping the Mela area clean.
Okay, good to hear. What about the rivers themselves?
They're working hard to control pollution levels in the Ganges, Yamuna, and Saraswati. They're monitoring water quality, setting up sewage treatment plants, and educating attendees about responsible waste disposal.
It sounds like they're really trying to find a balance.
Yeah, it's a multifaceted approach. And they're promoting sustainable practices, too, like using biodegradable materials and eco-friendly transportation.
That's good to hear. It's encouraging that they're taking steps to protect those sacred rivers while also preserving the spiritual significance of the Kumbh Mela.
Exactly. It's all about finding that harmony between faith and nature.
It's a reminder that even in the midst of such a huge event, we need to care for the environment.
Couldn't agree more. It's about leaving a positive legacy for future generations.
You know, as we explore this event further, it's becoming clearer that the Mahakumbh Mela is more than just a religious gathering. It's a cultural phenomenon, a spiritual awakening, a testament to human ingenuity.
It really is like a microcosm of India. All its diversity, traditions, and that amazing capacity for both grand spectacle and meticulous organization.
And for those who attend, it's an experience that stays with them long after they've left.
A journey of self-discovery, a chance to connect with something bigger than yourself, a memory to cherish.
I'm honestly feeling really inspired by everything we've learned, but I have a feeling there's even more to uncover.
There is. In part 3, We're going to explore how this ancient festival is embracing modern technology and what that might mean for the future of the Kumbh Mela.
Can't wait. So until then, keep those minds curious and stay tuned for the final part of our deep dive. And we're back for our final deep dive into the 2025 Mahakumbh Mela.
It's been quite a journey so far.
It really has, from the spiritual side of things to all the logistics and the incredible mix of people who attend. Truly a one-of-a-kind event.
You know, for this last part, I wanted to talk about something that might surprise some people.
Oh, I'm all ears.
It's how this ancient festival, with all its tradition, is really embracing modern technology.
You know, now that you mention it, we did touch on some of that, like how they're using tech for things like sanitation and security.
Right, but it goes beyond that. They actually have a mobile app specifically for the Kumbh Mela.
A Kumbh Mela app, huh?
Yeah,
That's pretty cool. What all does it do?
well, it gives attendees all the important information, like maps and schedules, even emergency contacts.
Yeah, I can see how that would be super helpful, especially with so many people to navigate around.
It helps pilgrims plan their trip, find their way around, stay connected.
So even with all the crowds and everything, technology is actually helping people with this ancient pilgrimage.
Exactly. And it's not just the app. They're even using AI and chatbots to help visitors.
AI at the Kumbh Mela. Now that's something I wouldn't have expected. How does that work?
These AI tools can answer common questions, give directions, even offer personalized recommendations.
Wow, that's really impressive. They're really going all in on using technology to make the experience better for everyone.
It's a great example of how tradition and innovation can work together.
Yeah, I like that. And earlier you mentioned technology being used for safety and security too, right?
Absolutely. We talked about all the cameras and the underwater drones they're using.
Right, for crowd control and those recovery operations if needed.
Well, they're also using facial recognition technology now
Whoa, really? What for?
to identify potential security threats and track down missing people.
Okay, now that's some serious high-tech stuff, like something out of a movie.
It really shows how technology can be used to keep millions of people safe.
It's reassuring to know they're not afraid to use those modern tools, even in a setting that's so tied to tradition.
It's all about finding that balance,
Yeah.
honoring the past while also preparing for the future.
Well said. So as we wrap up our deep dive into the Mahakumbh Mela, what stands out to you most?
I think it's that incredible combination of the ancient and the modern. It's a real testament to human ingenuity, to our ability to adapt, and to that never-ending search for meaning and connection.
It's true, we've seen it all, the massive scale, the amazing logistics, the beautiful tapestry of people who attend.
We've explored those ancient rituals, the traditions that keep evolving, talked about the economic impact, and even the environmental concerns.
It's been a real journey of discovery, hasn't it? A deep dive into a world that's both familiar and totally extraordinary.
Absolutely. And I think it reminds us that even in a world that's constantly changing, some things remain timeless.
Yeah, like what?
The human spirit, that yearning for connection, that search for something greater than ourselves.
I like that. Those are the threads that really weave the Kumbh Mela together, connecting the past, present, and future.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
Well, I think we've done a pretty good job of unpacking this massive, complex event.
I hope so. I hope our listeners have a better understanding of the Mahakumbh Mela now.
And if you ever get the chance to experience it for yourself, go for it. Go with open arms and an open mind.
You won't regret it. It's a truly unforgettable experience.
And until our next deep dive, keep those minds curious and those hearts open.